Do you enjoy turning Halo into Counter-Strike? Because I absolutely don't. Because I'll get pixel peeked by an elite, and then right afterwards, he'll trash talk me in a language I can't understand. And they both end with me using my head as a hammer to break my desk. And after I hit my head on my desk enough times, I'm pronounced criminally insane and forced to play Rust for the rest of my days. Can you beat Halo Reach without taking damage? Rule 1, don't take damage. Crazy, I know. Rule 2, I'm not counting the Saber section. Fuck you, I'm not doing it. I hate that section more than you could ever imagine. I'm not doing it. Welcome to Reach, also known as Space Detroit, where we play as our favorite carrier, Grey Master Chief. And we have to go and search to find my lost Victory Royale crown. Because apparently the Covenant managed to kill me in Fortnite and prevented me from getting my back-to-back Fortnite wins. Anyways, let's get into it. We started out the helicopter ride, and one thing I absolutely have to point out is that June's posture is so fucking bad. I mean, Anyways, we take a helicopter ride to go head down and go investigate to what happened to some farmers. And while we're down there, we find traces of weapons of mass destruction. And after getting permission to invade and take the oil, and finding a certain somebody hiding a certain way, we get ambushed by Covenant forces. And let me just say, on Legendary mode, these guys have eyes in the back of their head. I mean, I barely peek out and immediately get caught by a shot. So after letting Noble Team progress through most of the first section, we head off to go fight some more Covenant. The thing is, normally you're supposed to take this truck, but somehow, even in 2552, Ford somehow managed to implement their transmissions into this truck, and it doesn't work. Okay, I don't take the vehicle because vehicles suck, but that's not the point. Anyways, and by beating the Covenant's ass, I mean hiding behind a rock and pixel peeking. So eventually, after a while, we head down to a bunker, but not before sitting and twiddling my thumbs in a corner like a toddler, waiting for Cat to close the door. So anyways, after we head down to the basement, we get jump scared. Ooh, employment. Ooh, getting arrested for fake Jordans. Ooh. Anyways, after we get through clearing all the zealots, we head back up to meet up with the rest of Noble Team, where George tries to size up a meal. And in the process, he gets fucking shot in the head and dies. Reach explodes. Master Chief is permanently stuck inside Fortnite, and Cortana never ends up on Rule 34. Next mission, we get dropped off at Sword Base, and I proceed to get steel wool absolutely rammed up my ass for 30 minutes. I mean, I have this shit down to a science. I knew exactly what enemies I had to kill at what exact time. I knew this thing better than the back of my own dick. And the main annoyance is caused by this section is because of all the grunts using needlers. Because if I didn't get behind cover in time, I would just die. So after we clear through Sword Base, we head out to go drone strike a couple of Covenant vehicles, Obama style. And I said to him, sucker, I barely know her. Anyways, last night, several UNSC ships blew up a Covenant wedding. After we progress to go turn on a comms relay, which goes for the most part pretty well, we head over to go turn on an aircraft gun, which goes really bad because the damn elites keep running away like a coked out homeless guy after he takes your sonic AirPods. So after that, we head into the Sword Base and deal with a couple of hunters real quick. And then we head on to Oni, which I can only describe as part of the level as getting repeatedly bent over and spanked over and over and over and over and over and over. Now, because I know some of you sick little fucks are into that, they're spanking you with a branding iron, because for some stupid ass reason, this level features a bunch of splash weapons. And just remember, even if I take a bee's dick worth of damage, I have to reset. So in order to get through this, I end up camping like, well, you know the joke, I don't have to beat a dead horse. So anyways, after we get through the building, we had to head up to go blow up a couple ships. And after we're done doing that, we head down to go talk with Halsey. And the conversation goes something like SpongeBob and Squidward at the Krusty Krab.
That's me. Never had any hawk tour, never will.
What?
Anyways, next level, Nightfall. Now, you may think this would be very easy because I have a sniper rifle. And you would be damn wrong. Because I didn't know this, but apparently on Legendary difficulty, elites don't die from one shot in the head. It takes 2, sometimes 3 shots in the head just to kill these stupid fuckers. And the biggest enemy in this entire level is the stupid fucking grass that keeps getting in my way. I can't see shit when I'm trying to pixel peek and I see fucking flowers and blades of grass. Are you serious? Anyways, after we get dropped in to kill a couple of enemies before heading over to meet some militia people, which after a while I go hide because I'm scared of confrontation from the Covenant, We head over to a different area before hijacking a cloaking device. And then after that, we head a little deeper to go find the Covenant invading army, which only got through because in the game's lore, all the air traffic controllers are canonically French and were therefore on strike. Therefore, allowing an invading army the size of fucking Africa to sneak in unnoticed. Anyways, on to the next level. And for some stupid ass reason, we're all driving in order to go meet the enemy, which makes literally zero sense. Because in a world with super nukes and baddie AIs, we decide the best thing to do is to drive at each other. You see, if this game were a tad bit realistic, this would be like driving on the New Jersey Turnpike, where one wrong move would end up in the death of 10,000 people. So after doing what you would do on any road in New Jersey and crashing, we head up to go clear a landing zone. And I originally thought this was just going to be straight up impossible, because it's really hard not to get hit in this section. However, I was able to sneak up the mountain and clear the rest of the enemies. Now, after that, we get a Warthog and are tasked with taking out some anti-aircraft guns. But the funny thing about the anti-aircraft guns is that if you just shoot them with enough missiles, they'll just blow up on their own. The main issue in this level, though, falls during a midsection where there are a ton of elites to deal with, and I low-key got caught with my pants down like Bill Clinton during this section. So after we head to the next anti-aircraft gun and then blow it up, we get picked up by a Falcon, where the only way to get through this valley section without taking damage is continually firing warning shots at the enemies until they get the idea and won't fire back. So anyways, after a quick visual representation of our mental state after these challenges, we have to go up to the top of a spire. Now, getting there is not too difficult, but once you get to the top of the spire, it's nearly impossible to get in because of the fact that there are two grunts with rocket launchers, and oh my god, these things are so fucking annoying. Peek out more than a half an inch, boom, reset. Try to run through and throw a grenade, boom, reset. And the only way I'm able to get past is with blind grenade throwing. So after we go ahead and turn on the shields, we're finally able to blow up the tower. But a Covenant ship comes in and it blows up the whole Reach planet. And everybody dies. And Master Chief is forced to work at a pizzeria. But not just any pizzeria. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Anyways, we have a new plan after our ship is blown up, where we go and enact Operation Uppercut, where our job is to smuggle any inanimate object from SpongeBob onto the Covenant ship and blow it up. But in order to get there, we have to get to the Saber facility. So we head on up there, and the only way I'm able to get past the enemies is to sneakily jump in the water, and they just forget that they ever saw me. Remember, this game came out in 2007. 2007. You're fucking old. So anyways, after we deal with that, we head on up to the Saber facility. And I just wanted to point out that this guy blows himself up. Like, I don't know if this is an intended feature, but when I reloaded, he did it again. I don't know, it's pretty funny. So anyways, we head up onto the Sabers, which we don't talk about because, you know... Dude! Fuck! Oh my god! So anyways, after we get up onto the ship, we run into a bit of the problem. The problem is that I need to kill all these guys in order to advance to the next room. The issue is that there's no cover, and the only way in is falling down in low gravity, which means I'll get hit. Now, only 3 of them ever jump, meaning that there's at least 4 that I have to kill. So you may ask, what's the solution to this? I'll tell you, it's pretty simple. It's like using your head as a hammer. It's not very efficient, but if you do it long enough, it'll work. And that's what I did. I just kept trying to enter and kill them all, and eventually it worked. Oh, but don't worry, it gets worse, because the first major arena of the ship has 3 jetpack elites, all with focus rifles, and these things are the most annoying things known to man, even more annoying than your average Linux user. So anyways, after we get through this room, the rest of the level is comparatively a lot easier. As we get up to the bridge of the ship, we're able to start the refueling track, but before we can end this level, we have to get through another awful part, where we have to kill 4 elites, all with concussion rifles. And I'm gonna be real with you, I would rather play Rust while sitting on a working blender than do this shit again. It was that bad. So anyways, after we clean up that, George tells us that the air fryer is fried, so our pizza rolls may be a little burnt. But as he goes to plug it in, the whole ship explodes. But shortly after that, 18 more come in and we continue to fall right into the next level. Anyways, we've fallen into New Alexandria, and I thought this level was gonna cost me a lot of trouble because I have PTSD from the last time I did this. However, this level is actually pretty easy for the most part. They introduced new zealots, which are basically just damage sponges, but using the DMR on them makes it really easy to deal with them. However, it's not all Weenie Hut Juniors here, and allow me to show you the Arena of Death, also known as the building from Left 4 Dead 2. Now, the main issue with this section is the fact that there's an elite zealot in it, and these things have so much health. And by the time I'm finally able to take it down, I end up getting shot by another enemy in the arena. So my solution? Bomb it. America! So after we get through that section, we hop in a Falcon, and I'm forced to take damage in this scripted section, because I'm currently doing my favorite activity, which is staring at a wall. So after an embarrassing 3 deaths, we head on down to go get a missile battery back online. And we're accompanied by the finest UNSC forces available, which are diagnosed with lumbago and decided to crush and snort Smarties before all this happened, and ended up mistaking me for a giant 8-foot-tall alien. Now, after we get both missiles turned on, we actually have to go and fire them. The issue is that there's so many elites and zealots, is that whenever I would die, I would end up getting sent all the way back to the very beginning. Kind of like how far GTA is in development. Yeah, this game is, it's never coming out. So anyways, after we take care of the rest of the elites, we're able to take down the Covenant Corvette and end this level. On this next level, it's entirely done on a helicopter, which definitely causes me a lot of pain, because I keep getting shot from Banshees out of absolutely nowhere. So we go around turning off some jammers, and outside of a little pants shitting when we have to run away from the bugs, the majority of this level is quite easy. And outside of a little PTSD after heading into the hospital from last time, most of this level was quite easy, except for the fact that I ended up getting stuck in a save somewhere surrounded by Banshees, where I kept dying over and over and over again. Luckily for me though, throwing up my arms and running away as fast as I could worked perfectly fine. So after we turn off the last generator, which we do by running like Scooby-Doo and past a bunch of hunters because they have so much health, I mean they're closer to your mother than they are elites, we head out to go take out some turrets in order to protect some transport ships getting out of the city, which is easy because I use the strategy of flying so high that none of them can shoot me. So after we get through that, we land on the pad and enter into a cutscene where we find out the city is getting glassed. So we have to run to a fallout bunker. And while we're doing that, Kat gets shot in the head because she had the platinum chip. And sadly, she dies. Next level, we get dropped off to head back to Sword Base because Colonel Holland needs his Twitter history deleted, because if the Covenant got their hands on that, Colonel Holland would turn into a PSA horror story. So after we clear out a little Covenant outpost, which for some reason has ghosts and are extremely annoying to try and kill without taking damage, we go up and we go find a tank. Now, again, vehicles are absolutely giant, and for some stupid-ass reason, you take damage while you're in the vehicle. So get ready to memorize where every single enemy spawn is, or get ready to get a rod shoved up your ass, because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. You see, because the Covenant decided to dox me because I wanted to play Shawarma Legend on Starbucks Wi-Fi, they know where I am and can shoot me before I even have a chance to react. So I countered this by approaching them as first, and then used our special counter-strafing skills in order to finally kill them. And then, after I get through that section, I finally decide to use the DMR to take out the turrets, and use the tank to kill one last guy, which luckily does not hit me. So after we make it into Sword Base, we have to use the maintenance tunnels to get up. Now, the main issue of this is that there's absolutely zero cover in the entire room, and it's covered in sniper jackals. So after resetting more times than I could count, I figured out the solution was just to get good. And I was absolutely ripping these aliens a new arsehole. So after we make it through this section, we run into a dead end. But it turns out it actually isn't a dead end, and it's a secret tunnel past the ice wall into a Gartha. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is actually what happens. So once we get down there, we see that Dr. Halsey's working on something, and the Covenant is coming to attack her. And we gotta strap in and play Balloons Tower Defense. Luckily for me though, I'm a triple max prestige veteran of Balloons. And like most tower games, you spend most of it sitting around waiting for the game to play itself. Anyways, while this is happening, you guys wanna hear a joke? So 3 guys run into a bar, and the bartender asks if they're okay. And they say no, because they just ran into a bar. Anyways, after we finish this section, we go meet up with Halsey, where she goes and gives us the AI. You know, what's really funny about this cutscene is that she hypes this up to be the future of humanity, and when she gives it to us, she makes us like double sure that we have it. But wouldn't it be really funny if we just like tripped and dropped it? We're just like, oops, sorry about that. She's gone, AI's dead, you're never getting it back. So anyways, we jump onto a Pelican and on to the next mission. So you know what I said like 20 minutes ago? What if we drop the AI? What's so funny is that we just jump into a canyon with like this glass bottle with a bomb in it, and it just doesn't break at all. Like, I have no clue why on earth she was so scared to drop it. I don't know. Anyways, after we start making our way to the Pillar of Autumn, and we run into a bit of trouble, because I start this level with an assault rifle, and this thing does about as much damage as your 8-year-old cousin does when he's trying to fight your drunk uncle during Thanksgiving. And move on to a driving section. And the section is supposed to be a cinematic driving section where you're going to get run down by a bunch of Covenant. But because I'm a stupid idiot, I decided to punch walls before I did this, and the only way to get through this is by playing as lame as possible, and essentially playing Detroit Crime Simulator. So after we do the hit and runs, we end up getting blocked by a scorpion, and instead of trying to lead it away like a smart person, Carter decides to just crash into it to clear a path. So after that, we head into the canyon. And a part of the level I can only compare to New Orleans, Louisiana. Why? Because of the human-sized mosquitoes, and when you put out your head from cover, you get shot. So as we continue towards the Pillar of Autumn, we try to take out some more Covenant patrols before we end up coming across 2 hunters in a tiny enclosed area with minimal cover. Oh boy, I can't wait to get hemorrhoids. And get hemorrhoids, I did. Because for some reason on ultimate difficulty, these things can tank like 6 grenades and be just fine. So killing them takes so much ammo and firepower, and if you make one mistake, you're gonna end up getting hit by their splash damage attacks. Luckily for me though, I can just send Emil to deal with him, and he can distract them while I continually give them back shots. So anyways, after this section and applying a generous dose of Preparation H, we head on to the worst section in the entire game. Because it's 3 waves of mostly zealots, and the first 2 waves are really not that bad, because they spawn in opposite corners and are pretty easy to pick off. I had plenty of needle rifle and DMR ammo to deal with them. The problem is once I got to the 3rd wave, they dropped directly on my head. And the only thing I have to defend myself is 2 sticks of string cheese and a faux Minecraft diamond sword. However though, I was able to use the grenade launcher and hit this sick trick shot. That's pretty cool. So after committing several counts of battery with my Minecraft foam sword, we head over to go give the package to Captain Keys. But before we can get on the transport and leave, Emil gets stabbed by an elite. So we gotta go on up and man the gun to cover their escape. And then we head into Diddy's dungeon. And I'm not gonna lie, I would rather do the Tibetan monk cock and ball training where they hit you with a stick over and over again than do this section again. Because there's 3 elite zealots and almost 0 cover. And there's an enemy that grants extra shield as well. And the first elite notices you almost immediately. So you may ask me, how did I do this? Well, I grabbed a plasma launcher and baited the elite into a room before clowning at him for having a Reddit Gold subscription, causing him to scream extremely loudly and blow up. And I repeated that process for the second one, before just straight up shooting the last one. And before we can finish this run, it sadly ends, because in order to beat this, you have to successfully shoot the Covenant glassing port on the Corvette. That's the only required shot on this entire section. You don't have to shoot any of the Phantoms. However, for some reason, you take damage before you even get on the Mac cannon. So no, you cannot beat Halo Reach without taking damage or without getting hemorrhoids. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe next time I'll do a different game other than these 3, or maybe I have done something different, or maybe I'll stop making AIDS jokes. I'm not sure, but I am HIV positive. Yeah, whatever. I'll see you guys next time.